Hi, this is Sean from SoundTraxx. Today I'm using HitFilm 2 Ultimate, and I've put together a project consisting of some 3D objects and some lighting effects I applied in HitFilm 2. Now I've opened up the SoundTraxx music library, and I'm going to choose the song Orbital 1. I think that would go well with this little project we put together in HitFilm 2 Ultimate. I'm now going to drag it to my timeline, and that's it. We've got a soundtrack. Let's check it out. Hi, this is Sean from SoundTraxx. Today I'm going to show you how to use the SoundTraxx Music Library with Corel Video Studio Pro. First, just locate the SoundTraxx Music Library on your hard drive, choose the selected song, in this case I'm going to choose Creator, and drag it to your music timeline. That's it, you've got a soundtrack.
Oh, great holy. Look at us. Look at our brokenness. Of all of the life in creation, we, the human family, are the only ones that strayed from the good road. We are the ones who are divided. We are the ones that must come back together to walk in the sacred way, that we may heal the earth and heal each other.
My name is Robert Bone. I am from the Dakota Nation of Sioux Valley, Manitoba, Canada. One of the few remaining Dakota bands in Canada. I think there's probably 8 or 9 Dakota tribes that have gone into Canada and have stayed there. And our history is still intact, and our language is still spoken in our community, probably 75% yet. And sometimes it gets somewhat perplexing if you get caught up in the mainstream of things. Our people went to school and prohibited from talking our language. We went through that for maybe 40 or 50 years, and now as we sit back and have noticed, and they're paying us money to teach our people to talk the language again. So quite often we say, who is the crazy one in this whole affair? But I want to congratulate the people of Winona for taking the time to honor the Dakota. This must be commemorated and perpetuated and preserved and taken along, that every city in North America should follow through to make better relations for the First Nations people of all of North America. I think quite often we fail to recognize one another's maybe strengths and differences, work together and move ahead. And quite often when we attend gatherings such as this, you get such a good feeling out of it that like you're almost home. And if that can be duplicated across the country, I am sure what they call race relations across North America will vastly improve. And this is probably our 6th year coming to Winona, and seems to get better.
Politicians little incentive to pursue forms of energy that would free America from dependence on foreign oil. It's different in Europe, where the power of the wind is turning a profit for companies that envision an alternative future. With politics in America so beholden to the fossil fuel industry, wind power hasn't had the chance to show what it can do here. But on the plains of Minnesota, some people have decided that nature's own breath can contribute to an energy-efficient economy. Producer Rick Field went out to the land of Lake Wobegon to see what's blowing in the wind.
What if Jack Kennedy had said in 1960, you know, what about maybe going to the moon someday? That might be interesting. Instead, he said, we're going to put a man on the moon. We're going to do it by the end of this decade. We're going to corral the resources of this country to do it. And sure enough, by July 1969, a man walked on the moon. I'm Michael Noble, and I'm the executive director of a public interest group in St. Paul, Minnesota. We're called Minnesotans for an Energy Efficient Economy, ME3. And our job is to work with all the different groups to help change the rules of the game, to move public policy, to clean up our energy system. People always ask, well, how do you make electricity? Where does electricity come from? They think it comes from the electric outlet. And it's really actually not very complicated. You just need to spin a turbine, make a turbine turn. That's how electricity is made. So you can turn a turbine with hydropower, you can turn a turbine by burning coal or burning natural gas or splitting atoms. But you can also turn a turbine by putting it up on a tower in a windy place. It's a pretty simple way to make electricity.
We can compete With the conventional fuels today, especially if you put the real price of energy on the table, renewable energy is by far cheaper. The cost of renewable energy is the cost of capital to put the machine in the ground. There's no fuel, there's no pollution, there's no storage of waste, there's none of the other bones that rattle in the fossil fuel closet. Farming wind energy can be just like farming any other cash crop, and the technology is ready to do that. We own our own wind farm, and we manage and operate that on a daily basis, 10.2 megawatts. We also manage other companies' 33 machines on the north end of the Buffalo Ridge. And lately we've been helping farmers and small businesses get into wind power, farming wind as a cash crop, and helping them diversify their farms and creating new forms of income.
I'm Roger Koss, and we farm about 1,500 acres in this area by Woodstock, Minnesota. 10 years ago, Dan came to us. We started working with him, helped build his towers and helped build a few more towers, and I always kept saying to myself that, hey, it'd be nice if I could have a couple towers for myself. Why can't us farmers own them, be farmer owned?
Let's say a farmer has a good-sized farm. It's not an enormous farm, but it's a good-sized farm. And let's say they just put 2 wind turbines on their land. That would take up less than 0.25% of the land. It wouldn't take any land out of production at all. But it might be in the range of 30-40% of their income.
I have farmed here on the Buffalo Ridge in southwest Minnesota my entire life. And if you're a farmer, there's one thing you know for sure: the wind blows. And one of our problems here in Lincoln County, we're the poorest county in the state. We were the poorest county in the state.
The financing is available for these machines as long as you have a buyer for the commodity, somebody that will buy the electricity. The machines are financeable, and they can literally turn tables for the farmer to go from close to bankruptcy to becoming a viable economic entity because of the revenue streams that these things will generate.
Now with the wind turbines, our economy has improved dramatically. This is a chance to produce a product that we can sell to the big cities, and it's a crop that we get to the marketplace at the speed of light. New York City is an instant away from the electricity from these turbines. And I believe that 50 years from now, 1/3 of all the power in America, including New York and all of the East Coast, will come from wind energy because it's cheap and it's renewable.
You have to remember that our competitors are the largest monopolies in the world, and they really didn't think that it was in anybody's best interest for people to produce their own energy. And wind power represents, and renewable energy basically represents a dispersed generation source. You really can't put a fence around it and claim it.
Over half of America's electricity comes from the burning of coal. Most Americans aren't even aware that coal burning is a major part of their electricity. The American coal industry and the American oil industry dominate government today. And the American people need to hear that, and the American people need to do something about that.
Renewable energy is not ready at this point in time to take out coal, but it can be a very viable part of the mix and a long-term goal to eventually wean ourselves of fossil fuels. We have all of the resources here to do that. We have wind, we have solar, we have biofuels. We have all of the tools to do it.
There were 3 arguments against wind energy, actually 4. The first one was that aesthetically they were ugly. They're beautiful. I mean, they're absolutely beautiful. And we think that not just because they help us earn income as farmers, but they are beautiful. The second one was that it was expensive energy. That's not true at all. We're now producing it for 3.3 cents. It's the cheapest new energy in America. The third one was that they're noisy. And the fourth one was that it would kill birds. We actually conducted a year-long study that was done by South Dakota State University, and in that 1-year period, not a single bird was killed. We did find 2 bats that were killed, and we feel bad, but we're going to get along without those 2 bats.
The real challenge, after you kind of get over the excitement of the technology, is how do we integrate it into our society? What we really could do is, by pooling our resources from local people, I think we'd have the opportunity to each benefit. We've got a lot of potential for real community-based and community-owned wind energy. People would accept wind towers if they had a stake in it, if they felt connected to it, and we're making some money from it.
Well, I kind of felt, all these big companies come in like Enron, and there's got to be a profit in it. They wouldn't be doing it. So I more or less, as a farmer, once I seen Dan get his done, he's a small businessman. He did a small field. Why can't we get them smaller and have farmers get involved in it instead of having the big companies own them, and then all the money goes from here to Florida or Texas and out of the district. Keep more of it local and keep it here.
Wind power is not a liberal issue. Wind power is an economic issue. It's an issue of development. It's an issue of opportunity. Those are pretty traditional American values.
As farmers, the story that we need to get out is that wind energy is cheap energy, and it's renewable. We don't know for sure, but we think the wind was blowing here a million years ago, and we think it'll be blowing a million years into the future.
I want to see a national renewable energy standard where the United States Congress passes it and the President signs it into a law that 20% of America's electricity comes from renewable power in the next 2 decades. We need a leader who's going to say to us, this country needs to lead the world to a new energy economy that's not based on fossil fuels. It's not going to do the whole job. It's not a silver bullet. But there's no reason why wind power can't be a major, major, major part of the solution.
Hi, this is Sean from SoundTraxx. Today I'm going to show you how to use CyberLink Power Director and SoundTraxx to add a soundtrack to a movie. In this case, I'm going to choose the movie Baraka, and I'm going to scroll through the SoundTraxx directory and find the song that I think would fit this movie the best. I think it would be the song Ritual. So we're going to grab that song and bring it down to our timeline and line it up with the video clip. And that's it. You've got a soundtrack. Let's check it out.